Spirit of allegiance.
Did my chair plug? Oh, good. I always have that habit. That damn chair.
Matt, could you start us with a roll call?
Counselor Hickerson,
Here.
Zadi,
Here.
Demus,
Here,
Robinson,
Here.
Halter,
Here.
Batolo, Savage, West,
Here.
Mayor Como.
Here, counselors, first order of business. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the city council meeting held January 18th, 2021.
So moved.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second? Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is going to take us into the appointments section of our agenda. Mr. President, members of the council, I submit the name of Gene Legursky to serve on the second term on the Joint Powers Water Board.
Councilors, before you is the mayor's appointment of Gene Legursky to the Joint Powers Water Board for his second term. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilor Halter. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Zadi. Roll call, please.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson.
Yes.
Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Mr. President, I submit the name of Mike LaPiccolo to serve second term on the Police Civil Service Commission.
Councilors, Mike LaPiccolo has stepped up for second term on the Police Civil Service Commission. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Councilor Demus. Roll call, please.
Counselor Demus,
yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi.
Yes.
Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Mr. President, I also submit the name of Bonnie Cannon to serve second term on the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board.
Councilors, before you is the name of Bonnie Cannon, the mayor's selection for a second term on the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board, and entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Hickerson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Robinson. Roll call, please.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I'd like to recognize the Honorable Representative Stitt with us here tonight. He's obviously here to tell us that he's found additional funds for the city of Rock Springs this budget
Fantastic.
session, and
Let's let him talk first.
all's good, right? All's going to be well. But we are honored to have Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism here. Janissa going to go over their annual report and the 2022 tourism master plan that they've been working on. So Janissa, I'm going to, wow, she brought the money.
There's two.
Is that it?
Oh, I
See?
think
Some kind of good swag we got going on. Free beers from Square State. Wow, good deal. Did you get turned on?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I'm Janissa Meredith. I'm the Executive Director of Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism. Thank you for allowing me a few moments this evening to share with you our 2021 annual report. And you have that in your bag there. We have a lot going on, so I'm excited to share it all with you. As you know, Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism is the local option lodging tax board made up of 11 board members. 6 of them are appointed by the City of Rock Springs, 2 were appointed by Green River, 1 by Superior, 1 by Wamsutter, and 1 by the county commissioners. And the entire purpose of the lodging tax board is to generate hotel occupancy and campground occupancy. Heads and beds is the best way to think about it. Mark Lyon, he's our vice chair. He's one of the Rock Springs appointments. He does a really great job for us. He's here tonight as well. This is an election year. As most of you know, this local option lodging tax has to be voted on every 4 years by local residents, saying they want visitors to be imposed that tax when they stay in a hotel or campground in Sweetwater County. The structure has changed recently. There is a statewide lodging tax that's new. That started being collected in 2021. So there's a 5% statewide lodging tax. 2 of that replaces 2 of ours. So now 2 of ours cannot be lost based on a local vote. It was legislatively imposed. So now we go back to the local voters for that additional 2% to keep us whole at 4%. So this election won't change anything. There's nothing being added or subtracted. It would remain the same. And it has been successful over the years since 1991. We've seen 78 to 82% of the local option lodging tax. So local voters really see the value. I'll be giving you more information as that approaches with the resolution and so on and so forth. There's obviously a big campaign involved. We also moved to the location on Elk Street in 2020, making it a really ideal location for us to be as far as being on Highway 191, where folks are going to and from the national parks of Wyoming. So we just hope to slow them down right there, make sure that they know all the great things that are happening in Sweetwater County and encourage them to stay a day or two. As you can see there, that's how the lodging tax has been collected over the years, and the budget breakdown. So 79% has been spent on a marketing plan. So the state statute indicates that it has to be spent for marketing and promotional purposes. We can't build an attraction with a lodging tax. It's all marketing. So 79% is a marketing plan. 7% are for the event grants. 3% are for the chamber block grants. 3% for the Sweetwater Events Complex block grant, and then 8% for administration. So we provide funding to both of the chambers of commerce for them to operate as visitor centers and distribute the brochures throughout the county. We also provide funding to the events complex to help them with out-of-county marketing and event recruitment. The event grants, we hold grant hearings quarterly, so any event in the county that generates hotel or campground occupancy qualifies for lodging tax dollars if the event is hosted by a nonprofit. So everything from Wyoming's Big Show, the River Festival, hockey tournaments, soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments, pretty much every event that you can think of in the county that's hosted by a nonprofit and generates out-of-town visitation qualifies for lodging tax funding. We also work to recruit international tourism to our area. We attend what's called the International Roundup. It's a regional marketing effort, partnering with South Dakota and Idaho and Montana to generate international tourism, tour bus operations coming through our area, so we work really hard at that. And we also were successful at recruiting the state high school 3A and 4A boys and girls soccer tournaments for 23 and 24. Originally that was going to be in 22 and 23, but they moved all of those state events back a year for COVID. So we know that that will be about a $6 million impact for 2 years of hosting just that soccer tournament. It's a really, really big deal. We're really excited to be able to be the host location for that. I serve or host a number of local committees, all the way from beautification for the city of Rock Springs and Green River, to the Wyoming Travel Industry Coalition, that's a state level organization, to the Flaming Gorge Promotion Committee, which is more regional as well. In 2020, we did a strategic plan, kind of deciding what the future looks like for tourism marketing and our tourism product in Sweetwater County. And in 2021, we decided we needed to take that to a new level. As you all know, there'll be funding streams available with the ARPA funds coming up, and we wanted to make sure that we were positioned in a place where we had some projects ready that we all agreed upon and thought were some low-hanging fruit or some dreams that we hope to achieve as far as our tourism product goes. So we commissioned a master plan to be created, and it isn't quite finalized. I don't have the final document, so I'll come back and go over that in more detail at a later date, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. So the research that went into that master plan, the consultant compiled 31 local guiding documents. So the City of Rock Springs strategic plan, the City of Green River strategic plans, WYDOT, Game and Fish, tourism, economic development, every single document that you can think of that affects Sweetwater County tourism, that's any kind of a planning document, was considered in this master plan. So 31 of those, I have a list in the final document that you'll see. We brought together 24 local leaders onto a steering committee, elected officials, local business owners, our partner agency representatives. And we conducted both resident and visitor surveys. So we wanted to know what residents think about our tourism product, what they like to do in our area, what they think we should showcase, what needs work. And then we surveyed visitors. So anybody who's ever requested a travel guide from us, we randomly sampled that group and surveyed them. So almost 300 of both residents and 300 visitor surveys were conducted for this. And the 4 strategies that came out of it, these are going to be fleshed out in depth in the actual master plan, but partnerships and collaborations really rose to the top in the fact that if we're going after federal funding, it helps when everybody's on the same page, when both municipalities, the county commission, local businesses, local partnering agencies, when we're all on the same page, going after the same goal. So that's a really, really critical strategy that will need to be implemented more fully. And outdoor recreation, both visitors and residents really rave about the quality of our outdoor recreation attractions and the opportunities that we have there. I think we all know that, but it was nice to see that really rise to the top in these surveys. Attractions and amenities, so both indoor and outdoor, that rose to the top as well. Our winter season is really long, as we all know, and some indoor facilities would really benefit not only residents, but our visitors as well. And then travel industry infrastructure, so just making sure that we are ready to host visitors with transportation and hospitality and all of that. So those are the 4 key strategies that will be fleshed out in real great detail in that master plan that I will get to as soon as it's done. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's going to be exciting. We launched Flaming Gorge Tours in 2021. We don't have any ticketed attractions in Sweetwater County. And when people come to visit, when you go on vacation, you want someone to take you on a tour and show you around. We all do. So we wanted to provide an opportunity for folks to come to our area and kind of just sit back and relax and be guided and shown one of our greatest tourism attractions. So it's a full day bus tour. Some of you have attended it. Lucy Diggins-Wold is our tour guide. She's phenomenal. She was with Game and Fish for 27 years. She's just outstanding. If you know her, you love her. So yeah, we hosted almost 200 people last summer, all 5-star reviews on Google. And this year we're going to sell the tickets through TripAdvisor. So we have 28 tours scheduled for summer 2022, primarily on Thursdays and Saturdays, to make sure that we're not only accommodating that traveling visitor that's coming through on a weekday heading to the national parks, but also our residents that are here on a weekend and work during the week. So I hope that a lot of you will be able to jump on one of those tours with us. And sandboarding. This is new. I have been to Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, and this is a real hit. A private vendor actually rents the boards there, but people love it. We've taken families out there, we've taken our staff out there. It's a lot of fun. The Kilpecker Sand Dunes are just phenomenal, as you all know, and we wanted to make it so that it was user-friendly. We don't have an ATV rental vendor in Sweetwater County, so if you don't have an ATV, it's really hard to figure out how to go utilize the sand dunes unless you just want to hike and explore and look for wildlife. So this is an opportunity that we saw. We're possibly going to be renting sandboards coming up this summer, trying to avoid ATV traffic and only rent them probably Sunday through Wednesday is what we're looking at. We'll roll it out really slowly and see how it goes, but it's a lot of fun. I've done it, I've crashed, and I survived, and it was a good time. So we also provide funding to board projects. This first one, there was actually no funding involved, but just really proud that we were able to be the host location for the Adams family to go RVing commercial that was out during, right before Halloween is when this commercial went out. So when the Tiffin Motor Coach Rally was here, Go RVing was looking for a location to shoot this commercial. And they came to our visitor center, and they were talking to me about places on the Utah side of the Flaming Gorge, and I enlightened them about where would be the ideal location for this. So I have to jump out of here and pull it up a YouTube video. This isn't the actual commercial, but it's a YouTube version. So. So you'll recognize that location. That's Firehole Campground Swim Beach area. Rock formations kind of give it away, but really excited to be able to be the location that was shot in. Really, really cool. Another board project that we've worked on for years and years and years, the Flaming Gorge Scenic Byway. We were able to apply to the National Scenic Byways program and get the All-American Road designation for the Wyoming side of the Flaming Gorge Scenic Byway. It's a big deal. A lot of you already know about it. A lot of people ask, why does that matter? It matters because it now qualifies us to receive federal funding from the Federal Highway Administration. There's YDOT grants we can apply for to build tourism amenities, whether it be a restroom or a nature trail or interpretive signage or anything like that along the byway. So really excited to receive that designation. Worked on it since I started in 2007. We worked on it then. They'd been working on it for years before that. So really, really long time. Really excited that actually became a reality. That was the ribbon cutting for the All-American Road designation. And then we partnered with KUTV2 News to be featured on their road tripping segments that air in the Salt Lake City market and in the region as well.
The following segment is sponsored by Explore Rock Springs and Green River, Wyoming.
Thanks a bunch, ladies. It's been an absolute blast. Road trip in Sweetwater County, Wyoming story. And it's been a big day for you, okay? We just did the ribbon cutting ceremony. Janissa's poured her heart and soul into this project. Did you get a little emotional out there?
A little bit. It's a big deal. The Flaming Gorge Green River Basin All-American Road designation, we didn't think this day would come. One of only 37 All-American roads in the nation. The Wyoming half of the Flaming Gorge Byway, it's really special, and we've always known it's really special, but to be able to showcase it to the world in this way is really an exciting day.
I was raised by school teachers, so I was taught to soak up as much as I could at any single point. I got to admit, I didn't have a very good understanding showing up here today. You have left me with a phenomenal understanding. Maybe give a shout out to some of the people who shed some blood, sweat, and tears along with you.
Absolutely. It's been a group effort. It's not one person, it's a village of people. Our public landowners, the BLM, the Forest Service, WYDOT, our private industry, the Red Canyon Lodge, Lucerne Valley Marina. We have so many great partners, and we could not have done it without all of us together.
Okay, so the reason we're on the bus, back on the bus, is because guided tours are going to be a new thing. Couldn't resist a little more FaceTime with Lucy, who's going to be the face of the tour. What's exciting about your new venture? I mean, you get to entertain and talk to people, and again, back to education, they get to get an education out of you.
Yeah, they sure do. And, you know, going from Game and Fish working out here, and now I get to help people appreciate it even more. I'm excited to be out here with these people. I always took it for granted, but people get so excited out here, and really looking forward to doing that.
Okay, with your background in Game and Fish, and 27 years is incredibly significant. Tell me about some of the rocks. Tell me about the lay of the land, the plants, and the wildlife that you get to see.
Are you saying I'm old? Yeah.
Are you saying I'm old?
Well, no. So, yeah, I mean, when you talk to people about billions of years of geology, it's been a little bit of a challenge for me, but there's tons of bighorn sheep, elk, mule deer, elk, just lots to see out here. It's not going to be that difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, the flowers are in bloom. They'll be there all summer.
And this is a comfortable bus, and I know you're going to specialize in making people comfortable when they're on here, including food and including beverages. What's on the lunch menu, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, well, we eat at Red Canyon Lodge, and it's soup and salad. It's a buffet. He's got his hummingbird feeders set up, and you sit there and watch them. It's just a pleasant place. Got a little kid fishing pond. We got donuts from Cowboy Donuts, bottled water, of course, and they can also buy things at the visitor centers that we stop at. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Janessa, we're running just a tiny bit short on time. Again, I get it. You know, this is something that deserves to be celebrated, and it deserves to be seen. We got a lot of people in Utah, which is not that far away, but sometimes just the way our minds work, it can seem like it's a long ways away. But you've got the audience that we're dealing with right now at home. Tell them to get out here and take advantage of this, and where they can find information to plan a perfect trip.
Absolutely. ExploreWY.com is the website. Come and explore Flaming Gorge Country, and if you want to be guided, you want to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the view, take a tour with Lucy. $49 a person, full day tour, guided, with lunch included at Red Canyon Lodge. You can't beat it.
Okay, I tell you, the best part of this new gig for me, road tripping, has been meeting people like you. I feel like I've made new friends everywhere I've gone. Thanks a bunch. Have a good morning, ladies. This has been a blast.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Reached a large audience with that. On page 8 of the annual report that you have in front of you, that's a listing of all of our marketing efforts. So that 79% of that original budget pie chart, that's the marketing plan that we deploy throughout the year. And a lot of the advertising that you see there on page 9, locals don't see a lot of that. They see our travel guide, they see our dining guide, but a lot of those advertisements are targeted towards outside of our area, obviously to generate visitation to Sweetwater County. This is our 2-minute commercial that really highlights a lot of our attractions in the area.
In Southwest Wyoming, adventure is waiting. This is how we explore it in Sweetwater County. Discover classic Western towns like Rock Springs, where vibrant art meets natural history. Visit Green River, where the water kisses rock in an outdoor adventure haven. Make the drive and tee off your journey while surrounded by breathtaking landscape. Let your spirit run wild through the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area. And discover endless high desert hidden gems. Spark your senses among rare singing sand dunes. Stand in the shadows of giants formed over centuries and trek pristine trails to wide open space. Let authentic flavors lead you somewhere delicious. and connect with the tastemakers who call Southwest Wyoming home. Venture out on two wheels to see this land for yourself, where memories are measured in miles explored. And gather with the ones you love beneath the bright lights at unforgettable events. Here, you can get off the grid with the people that matter most. Travel safe and stay informed while adventuring responsibly in Rock Springs and Green River. Plan your adventure at explorewy.com.
That video shoot, we only do video shoots every 2 to 3 years. So that was just shot this past summer. So that's the most current footage that we have, and I think it turned out amazing. I'm like, are they getting like the aerial with the rock formations? It just blows my mind. Beautiful. So really excited about how that turned out. There's a bunch of small clips on our website, 15-second and 30-second, based on subject, if you want to check them all out. The Reach Awards, as you know, we recognize the hospitality industry for customer service quarterly. Just want to make sure that all the money that we're spending to drive visitation to our area is resulting in folks having a really good experience on the front line, whether they check into the hotel or in a retail outlet or a gas station or a visitor center. We want to make sure that the folks that they're dealing with on the front line are really giving them a good experience and encouraging them to come back. So the folks that are excelling, we recognize through the REACH Awards, stands for Rare and Exceptional Achievement for Customer Service and Hospitality. We also launched a customer service program in the last year. It's called the Sweetwater County Certified Tourism Ambassador Program. Many of the City of Rock Springs employees have taken this. We currently have like 67 certified tourism ambassadors in the county. So these folks are trained on everything that's special in Sweetwater County, all of our attractions, our history, our amenities, what they should tell a visitor if they have questions on the area to encourage them to stay longer, and then also just traditional customer service skills, like how do you treat folks when they're visiting your area. So the program is $39 a person with a renewal fee of $19 a year. But it's a certification as far as you put the credentials behind your name, CTA. So really exciting program that we just launched this last year as well.
Janissa, one question on the ambassador, and I think that was a great program. I think that needed to happen as new businesses, hotels, convenience stores and the like bring on new people. Is that information transferred to those new employees?
It's an ongoing effort. Yep, we have an employee that part of her job function is just the CTA program.
Mm-hmm.
So Hannah Putnam is our CTA person, and she contacts businesses all the time. Yep, absolutely. It'll be ongoing. We paid the initial fee to the National International CTA program, and we have an annual renewal and intend to continue to budget for that year over year. So the travel impact study, so we want to make sure that all of the money that we spend on marketing is actually generating visitation to our area. So we spend a good amount of money on research every year to make sure that if somebody requests a travel guide after seeing our ad, they become part of our database. We usually just did research measuring that travel guide database, but in recent years we've allocated more funding towards research, so now we can measure if they saw a digital ad, if they got any or saw any kind of advertising, print, digital, out of home, any kind of our advertising. Those folks were all randomly sampled, and this research indicates the impact of all of our advertising, not just the travel guide. So if you'll recall, starting in 2008 until 2018, for probably 10 years, all we were measuring was that travel guide. So we were having like a $64 return on investment to the local economy. Now we're measuring everything. So we know that our advertising influenced over 74,000 visits. The average travel party size was 2.8 people. They stayed in Sweetwater County 3.1 days. They engaged in 4.2 activities. So each of those trips with the 2.8 people spent $1,367. So the return on investment for every $1 that we spent on advertising was $454. And the advertising that we placed influenced almost $102 million in visitor spending in Sweetwater County. So much bigger than we ever even realized. We just couldn't afford to measure it until now. So really, really excited to be able to see those numbers and see what we're doing make an impact. And that's all that I have, unless there are any questions.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Ralph?
On the lodging tax collection for 19 and 20, 20 and 21, you know that Yellowstone and Grand Teton have seen record numbers of visitors. Is that downturn of revenue attributed to lack of tourism, or is it more industry maybe related, that not as many people are traveling
Are you
for work?
talking comparison of 1920 to 2021, or which one?
Well,
are you-
we've got a 1% decrease and a 7.6% decrease.
Yeah, that's COVID-19.
But with the, like Yellowstone and Grand
Yeah.
Teton, I mean, they're seeing huge
Yeah,
numbers.
we just took
Why
out
would-
3 months of the summer,
Yeah.
or 3 months of the March, April, May. If you just take that out, that was a big hit. We definitely saw an increase. We did not see the increase that the national park
Yeah.
saw, by no means. But yeah, that is wholly COVID-19. We were down probably at one point 25% year over year, but ended up not much, closer to that 7%. So yeah, definitely more folks coming to the area, a lot of camping. If we could have monetized the number of campers that we saw,
And that's a big part of what's going up there.
Yeah.
So that probably, okay.
yeah, if we could have figured out how to monetize that, we would have seen a tremendous impact. Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments, council?
Since you've done the sandboarding, are you going to be giving lessons?
You don't want to learn from me. If you've snowboarded, you can sandboard. That's
Speaking
what
of-
I've learned.
Speaking of which, sandboarding, I think I'd try that, but the big thing that seems to be catching on, has been here for years, is the skiing. Maybe we should do sandboarding. And
There you go.
get pulled by an ATV with your board and do the races. That'd be cool. Because
Yeah.
you sandboard down the hill and then you got to walk back up.
It's a workout.
And
It's
here
a
before
workout.
long, we can just do it down Dewar Drive. Don't even have to have a license.
That's right. Yeah.
Lot of opportunity
Yeah.
here.
Hey, Janessa, on that All-American Road designation, didn't the Utah side always have that?
No.
No, so they didn't
No,
either,
they don't
so
have
that
it
was
right now.
included. Oh, okay.
They have had a national scenic byway designation.
Oh, okay.
So we used to have a state scenic byway designation. They had a national, but a national and an all-American road qualify you for Federal Highway Administration funds. So they built 13 turnouts in one funding cycle from the
That's
Federal
what I was
Highway
thinking.
Administration in 2001, 2003, somewhere around in there. So we never qualified to even apply for those funds because we were only a state scenic byway. They, in the past, had applied for the All-American Road designation, and the National Scenic Byway Office said, join with Wyoming and make it a continuous loop. We wanted to apply with them in 2020, but they needed to have legislative approval to submit that application, and timing-wise, the session had already begun. So they didn't have the chance because they couldn't get that approval in time to get this application in, so they will go back and apply for All-American Road designation. Yeah.
That's interesting. The bus trips, when that started, I thought, I'm down there almost every weekend fishing on every back road there possibly is. There's nothing that I could possibly enjoy from taking a bus ride. That was extremely entertaining. Even from being here forever, she was great. What's
Lucy.
Lucy, great tour guide. Commander Erspalmer's father was our bus driver, so got to harass him a little bit, and very, very entertaining, informational. I'd do that again. So if you haven't done that, take the bus tour. Get to eat lunch at Red Canyon. Very well done. Hope to see that continue.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? It's nice to talk about tourism. It seems like it, of course, I'm proud of all the areas that we have around us, but it's one of those regions of income that we kind of take for granted. It's there, and we need to do the best we can to take advantage of it. So you guys do a good job, and it's always nice to hear from you, and look forward to this next, hopefully anti-COVID upcoming year, and see our numbers increase, and hopefully spur some additional revenue in our state. Support the lodging tax. Most of the money is paid by those people that visit our region, so by all means, it makes sense to do so.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Janissa.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, next we have the URA Agency 2021 Annual Report. Maria Mortensen and Sue Lozier are here, and they're going to give us an update of what the URA's been up to. Welcome, Maria.
Hi, is this on? Yep, we're on. Okay, I'm Maria Mortensen, and I'm the board chair of the Urban Renewal Agency. I don't have nearly as an exciting of a presentation as Janessa did. That was awesome. That was really good. Just real quick, one of the things that I wanted to highlight is 2020 was so hard for us with COVID and with businesses that weren't able to be open. We weren't able to have our fundraising events as we had in the past. So this last year, all of that started to come back to life. So we had a really exciting year. We saw the opening of 11 new businesses in downtown. There's a list of them in there under the economic development. I haven't been in a lot of those yet, so I'm excited to get down there and start looking around. Phase 1 of the First Security Bank building, that was really exciting for us, and we're really looking forward to what the future of that is. So we're going to focus just real quick on what happened this last year. One of the things that's not in here, and I see that Mark is here, about a year ago, we were able to secure a donation of I think it's a 53 Dodge pickup truck from the owners of Arrowhead Storage. And with the help of the city and Mark and a bunch of the employees, we were able to get that placed. I'm a little directionally challenged. Over by Broadway Burgers as you turn to go to the high school. You guys did an incredible job with that. I love it, and it's beautiful and perfect, and everything that we would have imagined. And we, the city helped with the flowers and all that this summer, and then we had, I think it was Brokerage Southwest that decorated it for Christmas. So we're sort of looking forward to seeing how that comes about as the seasons and holidays and stuff change. But we're hoping to have some businesses decorate it and put their signage, their whatever up there to do that. So that was kind of a really cool project between us and the city. One of the exciting things that we did this year was the National Women's Small Business Month. We hosted a professional meetup designed to help women in various fields sort of network together. It was really, really fun. It was exciting. I learned a lot. I served beverages, but I was able to hear all the stuff that was happening. There were women from all over the county who were there, and it was really a fun thing. And that was held in the Broadway, and I'm hoping that we get to do something like that again. We had $232,439 in private investments in downtown Rock Springs. That's, I think, a pretty impressive number. We assisted property owners with some facade grants and paint programs, and you'll see that we provided 6 grants: the 307 Dance, High Alpine Archery, Mi Ranchito, Mint Motel, Noble K Investments, and Stellar Cellar. The Mi Ranchito, we helped them put an outdoor eating area, so I think it kind of happened late in the summer last year that it was open again, so I'm hoping this year we can get more people down there to eat outside. We don't have a lot of opportunities for places to eat outside, so that was a really exciting one for us. And the Mint Motel, Tim probably knows this. My great aunt and uncle owned the original Lariat Lodge, which was beautiful. They took great pride in that. It was meticulous and beautiful and perfect, and I often thought as it sort of deteriorated, they would roll over in their graves if they could see what it had become. So we were able to do a facade grant, and The Mint Motel on the front is what it looks like now. So that was really a cool thing, and it was really cool for my family to see that happen. And so there are, I mean, it makes a difference. It makes a difference downtown for businesses, and it makes a difference downtown for the people who are residents. And it also makes, that particular project makes that end of town look a little bit nicer and a little more freshened up. Promotions committee is sort of, we're focusing on becoming the, sort of the center of the community and the hub of the economic activity. We had some really fun things this year that we brought downtown. One of them was the Downtown Asaurus. There's a picture in there. We had some really cool wooden cutouts of dinosaurs placed around downtown, developed scavenger hunts, coloring pages, dinosaur-themed events throughout the summer to engage families. We had lots of kids, lots of families with children come in and get their buttons or their little dinosaur characters. So it was really, really fun when you gave families the opportunities to get their kids outside and explore. That happened a lot, and that was really a neat thing to see, especially when we hear, you know, people who don't find a lot of fun things to do downtown. It was really good to see that. For Christmas, we did the downtown shopping sweepstakes. We had people text copies of the receipts that they, where they purchased items in downtown to, we created a phone number to do that, to gather all that information. Let's see here, 300 entries with sales totaling more than $16,000. And that was just during the holiday season and just the ones that were texted into us. So we are confident that there were a lot of, you know, things happening that we didn't know about. The response was really awesome, and there were lots of gift cards given away. We got, and I don't have it with me, but we got an email from a winner who got several different gift cards, and she talked about how awesome that was because they were businesses she didn't know about, and it allowed her to bring her family out for a meal, to do some shopping, to get into some retail places that she hadn't been in before. So that was really, really good. We got some really positive feedback, so we're hoping to do that again next year. By the numbers, we talked about how 2020 was really hard, everything shut down. So we had 42 public events hosted at the Broadway with attendance over 6,100 collectively. 79 events at Bunning Hall with attendance just under 10,000. 24 private buildings restored or updated. 13 net full-time jobs. 11 new businesses. 1,401 volunteer hours contributed. Though this isn't really pandemic related, but Facebook, we had 271,900 reaches, and Instagram 11,800. So it was a pretty exciting year for, you know, for sort of getting out there and coming back to life. We got several grants. Dominion Energy helped with the snowman stroll. I'm sure you've all seen the snowmen. They're made out of fiberglass, and artists painted them, and there are 6 of them around downtown. There's a stroll happening. We got Bobby Harris donated her time and talent to do some coloring pages for children. We're working on a lot of fun events around that, some snowman bowling, a book. So that's going to be happening now through mid-March. So that's going to be fun. But Dominion Energy helped, and Rocky Mountain Power helped with that. We got 3 separate grants from the Travel and Tourism Board for Blues and Brews, Art Timber, and the Snowman Stroll. Wyoming Arts Council for Broadway Theater Season, the Wyoming Community Foundation for the Snowman Stroll, the Wyoming Cultural Trust Fund for the Brown Bag Concert and the Snowman Stroll, and the Wyoming Main Street for summer placemaking, winter placemaking, and technical assistance grants, and the Wyoming State Historic Preservation Office for the First Security Bank building. So lots of good things happening. Lots of grant money coming into our community to make things happen for us. All of the staff at the URA completed the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program. I'm doing it on February 16th, so I'm really excited to do that. I didn't know when they were coming up, so Chad sort of helped me figure that out. So I'm really excited to do that. I love this place a lot. I know a lot about it, and I know there's tons more to learn, and I love sharing it. So that's going to be really fun for me. We got a new large-scale mural on Fifth Street, part of Kayla Newman's Murals on the Move, which aims to put a mural in each of the 50 states. So we've got a really, I think it's on the High Country Archery Building. There's a parking lot there next to it, so you can see it really well. The Kicking It Downtown, we got the boot murals located on C Street. All local artists, but one was still within the state. But anyway, it's a really cool project. They're all very different and very unique to the artists that created them. A local scout named Shane Meets installed a blessing box at our office to help those who are less fortunate. I see a lot of things rotating in and out of there, so I think that that's making a difference for the people who use it, and I think that the community as a whole is supporting that. So it was a really, really wonderful effort on the part of that young man to do that for our community. It's a beautiful piece of work, so if you get a chance, stop down and look at it. We hosted the first ever Mayor Arts Award to help promote the arts in Rock Springs. That will be coming up again, I believe, in April, right? We encourage locals to take the pledge to attend by attending at least one art event each month. So people got just a list of what they were, and it was just a commitment to do that, and a list of some things that were happening, and people could check that off their list and make sure they got that all, as many of those as they could. We hosted our first ever craft cocktail week. And to highlight the National Main Street Center's 4-point approach, we hosted the 4-Point Friday. Wow, 4-Point Friday in February. It's a lot of F's in there. It featured one of the 4 points: promotion, design, organization, and economic vitality each Friday, and what that has meant to our community and to our program. We did Historic National Preservation Month to create awareness about the importance and value of the historic preservation. And we developed a historic architecture scavenger hunt featuring downtown Rock Springs buildings. And that was a lot of fun. People will come in, they get the list, they go around, check them off. We got lots of really fun comments about, I never thought to look at that building before, and now that I did, it's actually really pretty cool. And pretty exciting, Rock Springs was listed as one of the 7 best places to live in Wyoming, according to Zumper.com. I'm not really familiar with that website, but that's a pretty cool thing to have happen. And on the back, you'll see all the highlights from the Broadway Theater, some grants, a bunch of shows. We had several sold-out shows, which including the Bar J Wranglers, which was kind of a real bittersweet thing to see that they're going to be, retiring, and we won't be able to have them here anymore. But Friends of the Broadway Theater, anybody who wants to join, it's for an individual, it's $25 for an annual membership, and that helps us keep the social club up and running so that we can have beverages there. That is really all that I have about this. Do any of you have any questions about that?
Council. It's just nice to see downtown so active between travel and tourism and URA. Hopefully we have another exciting year, but you guys both have a lot on your plate, and good people helping you through it. But I'm hoping that we continue to do this. Hopefully when we see the First Security Bank completed.
I can't wait.
It's looking a little bit better. It's nice and clean and white, and
yes, even just now it looks so much better.
Yeah.
I was going to mention to Janessa, I had a family member this summer who said, I don't know where all these people are coming from. She said that she'd never seen that many people in Rock Springs ever in her life. And I was like, yay. She wasn't too thrilled with traffic and whatnot, but from my perspective, I thought it was a really wonderful thing.
It is, it's interesting. I had a call from an individual that wondered why we were purchasing terracotta for the building. Why didn't we just leave it the way it was? I had to explain that the building is terracotta, and we just were going after a grant to help for the inflation of costs that we've seen. Representative banks, and I looked at opportunities, and we'll hopefully supplement the additional terracotta work with about $39,000 worth of funding. So that's good, but it also shows you those locals get involved, ask questions, and no, we're not tearing the building apart. It is terracotta, and by the way, it's the largest terracotta building in the state of Wyoming.
Wow.
So we have that behind us, but it's cleaned up. We have a little bit of work left to go, and I think early spring they'll get in and finish up the terracotta, and hopefully at that point you folks can have Bank Court back, and we can start having events back there again. But
Yes, and even not having Bank Court, having those brown bag concerts behind the Health and Human Services building, there was still really good attendance there, and it was a nice location. The grass, I mean, the grass was nice. I noticed that the groups, there's an adult group home, they still came, which was amazing. Lots of just different people from all over. I noticed people just stopping by with their lunch and eating, even if they just stayed for part of the concert. I mean, that's the point. Come down here and see this.
absolutely.
I hadn't listened to, I think you pronounce it Toomer, Stephen. He does rap, and I had never, it's definitely not a genre of music I would seek out to listen to, but Nick Fletcher, who's Sycamore Treasy, is a young man that I just adore, so I really like his stuff. And Stevens, when I listened to him at his Toomer presentation down there, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go down here because I like this kid, and, it's going to be a fun event. And I was really pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed his performance. So it's one of those things, you think like, oh, I don't want to go see that. But it was nothing I probably would have ever considered going to, except for that it was at a brown bag, and it was really enjoyable, and I really liked it. And, just kind of open yourself up and learn more and experience more. And
Well, I always, you always hear that there's nothing to do around here, and I think with your report and in addition to Janissa's report, I think there's plenty to do around here. You just need to get out and do it.
And I think that what the Travel and Tourism is doing about letting people know that there are these things to do here. Like, I know, I've lived here for 35 years. I've never been to the sand dunes. Like, how come I've never been to the sand dunes? I don't know. My husband's been out there plenty, but I just never have. And, I think I need to strap on one of those little boards and some bubble wrap and try it out.
She's giving lessons.
That's right.
I think she's a little younger and probably significantly more fit than I am, but I think it's worth trying. I mean, it's just you just have to.
It's really all about speed. The faster you go, the more control you have. So I'd recommend getting pulled behind
until
an
you
ATV
don't have control anymore, right? Yes. Anyway, well, thank you all for letting me present this
Thanks, Maria.
to you.
Appreciate
and,
your report.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah, great job. Okay, councilors, next we have a couple of proclamations. The first being Random Acts of Kindness Week. And we have a proclamation. We have our kindness ambassador, Kay Gilkalia. Do you want to say a few words? Pardon? You want to say a few words? Tell us about what acts of kindness is. Want me to shut up and just read the proclamation maybe? So we had all the schools. We were invited to the schools because it was Kindness Week, and I want to say maybe 50 of us or so headed out to the junior high and spoke to the kids and the like. But I think this is a good reminder of how valuable it is to produce acts of kindness.
It is, especially in the younger generation,
Yeah.
I think. They just sent me here to pick up the proclamation, of course. But I think they're hoping that not just do it a week, but extend it out through the whole year would be very unique project.
365, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, our proclamation reads, whereas the City of Rock Springs recognizes the value of acts of kindness that are performed without prompting or reason, and how these acts can positively impact the person offering the kindness, the person receiving the act of kindness, and those witnessing. And acts of kindness can be performed by any person in Rock Springs, regardless of age, origin, education, gender, religious beliefs, lifestyle, or abilities for the good around them. And kind individuals can create a more caring community and help to perpetuate genuine acts of kindness within their city, state, and even throughout the world. And we seek to cultivate thoughtful and compassionate residents by teaching our youth to make differences through random acts of kindness. And Random Acts of Kindness Week is recognized as an international celebration intended to encourage all of us to practice acts of kindness in our homes, our schools, our businesses, and communities. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Timothy A. Como, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the week of February 13th through the 19th, 2022 to be Random Acts of Kindness Week in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and encourage citizens of the community to participate in random acts of kindness in the spirit of compassion, kindness, and goodwill towards all persons. So if you all could just be kind to one another, and spread that throughout the world, we'd be living in a better place. It's kind of a depressing world right now, but we need to spread a little kindness, and I think all will change. Well, Kay, thanks for coming down, and we'll present you with this proclamation. Maybe take a picture if we have a picture taker. And the next, counselors, you better get ready to get your team together. Donate your $100. Is it $100 per person? And bring yourselves out to the Paul J. Wataha Recreational Facility and on February 19th, and jump in the water. We have the Jackalope Jump Day proclamation, which we're going to have to start off with Michael Boren, Administrator of Life Skills, and he brought with him Jeff King, longtime resident and a local athlete. Tell us a little bit about Special Olympics, Jackalope Jump, and Chief Pacheco is going to be there to back him up. It's all yours, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd really like to express my appreciation for this council, you, Mr. Mayor, this community. Special Olympics is near and dear to my heart. It is a remarkable organization that offers individuals of all abilities an opportunity to participate in athletic competition. And it's so much more than that. It's an organization that promotes unity, inclusion, friendship, teamwork, all of the very best qualities that we were just talking about during that last proclamation. And I would tell you that it is an organization that truly makes a difference in people's lives. One of the things that I'm grateful for is living in this community and having the support of Chief Pacheco, the rest of this council, in things like our upcoming Jackalope Jump. Jackalope Jump is a fundraiser that supports Special Olympics Wyoming. So the athletes who live right here in our community can go and participate in training, exercise, competitions throughout the state, and ultimately throughout the nation and even throughout the world. It is something truly wonderful to see and to participate in. During our Jackalope Jump, we're inviting members who want to participate by throwing themselves into the pond the opportunity to do so. We're asking for a $100 sponsorship. All those monies go directly to Special Olympics Wyoming to fund athletic competitions and support our local athletes. Teams can be formed. We do have a theme for this. I'll save that for Chief to discuss. But we would definitely love to see everybody come out and participate, even if it's just to cheer on those who do have the courage to jump this year. Chief, you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Michael. Mayor, Council, we're pleased to have the third annual Jackalope Jump, which is a leg of the Law Enforcement Torch Run. Law Enforcement Torch Run is the largest grassroots fundraising effort for Special Olympics through law enforcement. And it was originated in Wichita, Kansas. It was originated in the early 80s, and we're actually at almost $1 billion that they've raised for Special Olympics since that time. So there are different fundraising efforts through the Law Enforcement Torch Run. Jackalope Jump, which is also called the Polar Jump in other areas of the country, but we affectionately know that Jackalope here. So that's what we've named it here in Wyoming. Our theme this year is 80s. So Mayor, you'll be right at home. Councilor Robinson, you as well, will be right at home, as well as Brent. You won't get away either. What's that?
I'll grab my mullet.
Okay. But
You'll
yes.
have to.
I was, Grant Yaklich, curator out there at Watauga, said that there's 12 inches of ice on the pond, so
Nice.
we're definitely frozen, so it's gonna be a good time on February 19th. 10 o'clock's our registration. At noon, it'll all be in the proclamation. That's when we'll jump. It's fairly quick, so if you wanna go out and support, be out there a little before noon so you can watch us crazy people jump into that water. But it's all for a good cause, and we're excited to turn it over to Jeff. We're excited to hear what he has to do.
Want to say a quick couple of words about what's special? No?
So Jeff, we know, is going to represent Wyoming in a bowling activity on the
Yes.
national level.
Yes. So Jeff has been selected to participate in this year's National Special Olympics Tournament held in Orlando, Florida this June. So he will be representing the state of Wyoming and Sweetwater County in bowling, which is one of his best activities.
Good deal. Good luck, Jeff. Well, we have a proclamation, and I was just wondering, being as we're absent, Councilor Savage, if I paid the $100, can I throw Savage in? I think that would be, actually, Councilor Savage, I think he did jump last year, didn't he?
He did.
Yep.
He plans to this year as well.
Well, maybe that's why he's in Death Valley camp and in the heat right now, so we can get geared up for it. Our proclamation reads, whereas the mission of Sweetwater Special Olympics of Wyoming is to provide year-round participation in sports training and athletic competition in a variety of well-coached Olympic-type sports for individuals with intellectual disabilities. And Special Olympics of Wyoming provides athletes with continuing opportunities to develop physical fitness skills, express courage, experience joy, and participate in the sharing of talents, skills, and friendships with their families, friends, and other Special Olympics athletes and the community. And Wyoming is the one and only location on the planet to hold an annual Jackalope Jump, also known as a polar plunge event in other parts of the country. And jumpers create awareness and raise funds to support Special Olympics of Wyoming by participating in a cold water plunge fundraiser event. And this statewide Freezing for Reason event runs from February through March each year, and the Jackalope Jump is held locally in conjunction with the annual Law Enforcement Torch Run and is a huge fundraising effort benefiting Special Olympics and athletes. And this year's theme is the 1980s. In order to participate, individuals or teams collect pledges from friends, family, and colleagues to lock in their spot. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Timothy A. Como, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby proclaim February 19, 2022 to be Jackalope Jump Day in the City of Rock Springs, and I urge our community to participate in Rock Springs' third annual Jackalope Jump at 10 a.m. on February 19th, 2022 at the Wachaha Recreational Complex. Participants may register on the Special Olympics of Wyoming website, http give.sowy.org, or at the event itself. We look forward to it. I'm not going to say I'm going to jump, but I am going to be there. We'd like to give you this proclamation.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Chief, do you have a date on the torch run yet?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not, but we'll share that once we get it.
All right.
Cool.
I just need several months to train to think about participating.
Well, I think the council's actually invited to Dubois again, if that's where we're going to participate in that event, somewhere warm maybe. Councilors, I think that's what has wrapped us up with the presentations and proclamations portion of our agenda, and we're going to move on to petitions. I would ask if there's anyone here tonight wishing to address the city council on any reason whatsoever. Now is your time to do so.
Well, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Clark Stith, representative for House District 48. Not here for any particular purpose tonight, other than this is your last meeting before the legislative session starts on February 14th. I think this Thursday night at 5:30 at the Broadway, there's going to be a longer sort of presentation for people to ask the local legislators about what we expect to happen. So I'm just here if you have any questions. It's only 20 days of legislative session, and there are 4 big things that are being done: legislative redistricting, the budget, capital construction bill, and then the Direct American Rescue Plan Act funds bill. So those are the 4 big things. Redistricting, you probably know as much about it as I do at this point. It's kind of like a slow-moving food fight at a junior high school cafeteria. So that's kind of
very much.
The latest plan would actually increase the size of the legislature by 3, adding 2 House representatives and 1 senator. So you'd have 62 House representatives and 31 senators. I don't think there's much good in that for Sweetwater County. It would just give an extra representative to Cheyenne and Casper. I don't think that helps us. I don't expect to be voting for that. But who knows what will happen. They passed, the Corporations Committee passed a backup plan that's, I think, at least more neutral or favorable to Sweetwater County. We'll see what happens. I don't really have a prediction on that one. Don't know what will happen.
Hopefully that loses its steam. One of the questions I was going to ask you about that could be concerning and cause some cost increases was the pharmacy tax. What do you know about the pharmacy tax?
You know, I think anything with tax in it is unlikely to pass. Okay, I don't see any new taxes coming out of the Revenue Committee being very successful this year, in part because a year ago we had steep revenue declines. There was a massive budget deficit, and quite the reversal of fortune with the increase in natural gas prices and oil prices, and a slight rebound even in coal, such that now we're not only looking at the $1 billion of extra federal dollars coming in, but there's a structural extra $300 million going forward for the next several years. So that's, I imagine it'll be really hard for any tax to gain traction this session. I would find that very unusual. It takes it takes a 2/3 vote to introduce any bill other than the budget bill this session. So I think that just makes it tough generally. Councilman Halter was the inspiration for a personal bill that I'm sponsoring on net metering that might help you as the city of Rock Springs, should you decide someday to put solar panels at the rec center to offset your very high electricity costs there. Then this bill, if passed, would let the city net meter, that is, get paid for the excess electricity the solar panels would produce during the daytime and the sun shines. Right now, you can't, as a practical matter, you can't do it because there's a 25 kilowatt limit in the current legislation, current law for net metering. So we'll see what that goes. Again, whether that'll pass this time, whether I can get 40 votes for that in the House, who knows? We'll see. But if it doesn't work this time, we'll keep doing it. On the, maybe some highlights on the budget, just, or in the ARPA bill, just briefly, $35 million was allocated for WyoLink. So that'll give a little shot boost to that program. Community college will get $5.6 million to build our nursing facility. There is a $95 million water bill that Green River will probably benefit from for its wastewater treatment plant that came in higher than expected. I've been trying to figure out how to get the Middle Baxter Road funded, so we're coming at that at different angles for the water portion of that. It's got actually some support across the state, actually, generally speaking. Just shoehorning it into this budget session, I don't want to overpromise what we're going to get done, but we're going to continue working on that. The theme kind of on the sort of this $1.3 billion temporary windfall to the state was to try to save a third of it for permanent savings, use a third for medium term and a third for short term. The Joint Appropriations Committee met for 2 weeks in December and 2 weeks again in January. We didn't really quite achieve that. There's about $227 million that the Appropriations Committee is recommending for permanent savings to the Permanent Mineral Trust Fund, Common School Permanent Land Fund, and the Wyoming Wildlife Natural Resource Trust. How it will all shake out in the next month, I don't know. There's probably going to be an effort to save even more on short-term projects. The focus was kind of on economic development and trying to take advantage of the TerraPower Natrium project in Kemmerer. What we'd like to do longer term is maybe have our economy sort of integrated into that project as opposed to having it just be a foreign thing that just lands in Kemmerer and doesn't affect the rest of us. We'd like to try to figure out a way to integrate that. There's so the $75 million sort of set aside for federal to do a federal match for energy projects similar to that, maybe a hydrogen hub. So anyway, there's a lot of I guess what can be mind-numbing details, frankly, on that. But I think the current plan is focused on trying to use the funds for some long-term savings, for economic development. On the immediate needs, say ambulance service, for example, I'm a bit disappointed that there's only $5 million allocated statewide for so-called EMS stabilization and another $5 million for a pilot regionalization project, which would happen up north probably. And frankly, $10 million just isn't really enough to move the needle to do anything, okay? There is an extra $50 million set aside for local government projects that are not water. So it's possible if our community comes up with a plan for EMS or other projects, maybe finishing off the First Security Bank building, those things would be eligible for that pot of money. So you've been here for a long time already tonight. I know you have your business to get to. I don't want to give a long lecture about all the details of that, but any questions you might have, and I want to let you know that if you've got ideas, thoughts, or feedback for me during the session, please let me know. I'll be paying attention to my email and my phone.
Sounds good, Representative. Councilors, any questions, comments? We'll most assuredly be in touch on Bitter Creek, AML, DEQ, First Security Bank, ARPA funds, all that stuff.
Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it. Thanks, for the
Clark.
work you do.
Appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Any issue? First off, we only have really one other individual in the audience other than the reporter, but I would like to just, I haven't been able to recognize Les Mock for the work he does. This guy, I've been at the city, it seems like dog years, somewhere around 67 years maybe, and worked with a lot of union reps, presidents, and UMWA rep. This man, and I think Rick will agree with me, Matt, this guy does the work to represent our employees. He's thorough, he's fair, he stays in touch, and Les, I just can't thank you enough. I think it's saved us numerous issues, and definitely the employees should feel proud to have somebody like you. And if you ever take a leadership role in some other goals you may have, I'd be there to support you. You do a great job. And with that, I'm going to close the petitions section of our agenda. Move on to the officers and staff reports. Councilors, we have one item from the Housing Authority, the Rock Springs Housing Authority 2021 Annual Report. I'd entertain a motion to approve this report and place on file.
Moved.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to the council committee and board reports. We have 4 items. 1, the Sweetwater Combined Communications Center 2021 Annual Report. 2, the Parks and Recreation Board meeting minutes of December 9th, 2021. 3, the Joint Powers Combined Communication Board meeting minutes of December 20th, 2021. 4, the Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting minutes of December 21st, 2021. And I would ask, are there any other reports or information needed at this time?
I've got just a quick one, Your Honor.
Mr. President.
And I'll make it quick. As you guys might recall, back in around August time frame, we hired a consultant for kind of some budgeting assistance to go through, look how efficient we are with our budgeting process, if there's room for improvement and things of that nature. So the budget committee has been meeting with them along with the department heads. That firm we hired was GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, and they have essentially compiled a report for us for suggestions. And the budget committee got together this afternoon, had some discussion about how we can present that to the council. It's a very in-depth report that is probably going to take a year or 2 to implement some of the suggestions that were in there, but we thought it would be a good idea to have them present perhaps at the next meeting to inform you guys all. I think the PowerPoint was like 40-some slides, so we'll try and condense that. And then another idea that came about was to try and get together maybe next month in more of a workshop or retreat fashion to bring you all up to speed on kind of what these recommendations are and which avenues we're going to try and approach, I guess, in this next fiscal year budgeting cycle, and then, kind of get everyone on the same page with everyone's thoughts and vision and all of that. So Kristen will be sending out a doodle pool. We're tentatively shooting for the week of March 7th, and that'll be for council and department heads. So look for that. We're anticipating probably an all-day event, so that's going to be difficult for those that have jobs, but we wanted to give you a little notice so you can plan accordingly. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. So March 7th, the week of thereof, please, if you would answer that invite by Kristen, see what works best, and we'll see if we can get together and make sense of it.
Your Honor.
Councilman Robinson.
Just real quickly, on that same note regarding the specific purpose tax, it's moving slowly. The Board of County Commission today did approve funding to hire TurnCore for some informational, I don't want to use the term promotion, for some informational, news to everybody so we can kind of go forward with this process. But I also think that it would be beneficial to all of us to get together, kind of finalize some numbers regarding the specific purpose taxes, come up with any updates on numbers that we need to, and kind of come up with a priority list of what we as the city of Rock Springs would look for were this to go forward. because nobody has other things to do, this may take a good, few hours as well, so.
Well, Councilman Robinson, this has been a worry of mine as well, and I haven't heard much from the committee and not knowing from the commissioners what direction they were going to take. But I hate to cram so much into one meeting, but maybe this would be another, at least a quick topic at our retreat, as we could talk about projects and make sure we're all on the same page. And by all means, beforehand, communicate through, phone messages, email, whatever it may take to get a list together. But I think all of us are still concerned whether it's going to be a time frame cap, a monetary cap, or just a menu item type of ballot.
Correct. The committee that's been put together to discuss this hasn't moved very far because they were waiting to find out if this funding was going to be approved, and they're going to be going forward with a poll, city or county-wide, to kind of get the input of the constituents as well. So there's a few other rolling wheels in this before we can kind of get to that point, but I do think that we need to have our ducks in a row, so when that does happen, we're ready to present to them what we're looking for.
Well, Councilor Robinson, if you feel the need, please just reach out. We can schedule either a workshop or a get together. And
I'll drop an email out to the council department heads and Kristen, and if she can put something together for us, we can get together.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
So they hired TurnCore, but they still haven't hired any bond counsel. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, correct?
They're using.
I think that's in the process of happening, but.
Okay. I don't know why they would have to approve spending up to $20,000 for informational purposes. It seems like we just went down that road.
Well, I believe that they are at this point, and I'll say we, since I am a part of that committee as well, are trying to go along the lines of of what Cheyenne did with the menu options. I think that's the most supported through all the different entities, and so I'll give you more news when I get more news.
Okay, appreciate that. Councilors, with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the council committee and board reports you have before you and what you've heard from. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor, I'd move to approve the council committee and board reports and place on file.
We do have a motion to approve the council committee and board reports and place on file. Do we have a second? Second. Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this moves on to the correspondence. We have one item from correspondence. Councilors, I'd entertain a motion to approve the correspondence and place on file.
So moved.
Do you have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is going to bring us to the bills and claims. Councilors, item number 1 is the bills and claims for February 1st, 2022. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demas?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for February 1st, 2022.
We do have a motion to approve the bills and claims for February 1st, 2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstained.
Let the record show. Item number 2, the salaries for January 21st, 2022. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demas?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for January 21st, 2022.
We do have a motion to approve the salaries for January 21st, 2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to new business. Councilors, item number 1 is a request from the Engineering Operations and Public Services Department for permission to bid the 2022 concrete replacement, Phase 1, 2022 overlay, 2022 crack sealing, Phase 1, and the 2002 weed mitigation projects. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2 is a request from the Engineering Operations and Public Services Department for permission to bid the 2022 sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Hickerson.
I move to approve this request.
We do have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3 is a request from the Rock Springs Main Street URA for permission to apply for a CLG grant from the Wyoming State Historic Office to assist with terracotta restoration for the First Security Bank building in the amount of $39,432.98. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
move to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to resolutions. Councilors, we have 4 resolutions. First being from the Housing Authority, Resolution 2022-07.
A resolution authorizing and directing Timothy A. Como, Mayor, acting in his capacity as Chairman of the Housing Board, to accept a bid of $40,500 from Tarfelli Construction, 2623 Driftwood Lane, Rock Springs, Wyoming, 82901, for fire damage repairs at 1455 Thompson Street, apartment number 7, for the Rock Springs Housing Authority.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
move to approve resolution 2022-07.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-07. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 2, Resolution 2022-08.
A resolution accepting and approving a National Museum of the United States Air Force Community Static Display Loan Program 2022 Loan Agreement, SDA 0335, with the United States of America, represented by the National Museum of the United States Air Force and the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing and directing Timothy A. Como as Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said loan agreement on behalf of the city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve resolution 2022-08.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-08. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 3, Resolution 2022-09.
A resolution to formally release, vacate, abandon, and quitclaim the city's interest in lands dedicated to the City of Rock Springs in July 1979 for road highway purposes.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve resolution 2022-09.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-09. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's called. Roll call.
Councilor West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And item number 4, Resolution 2022-10.
A resolution to formally release, vacate, abandon, and quitclaim the city's interest in the temporary construction easement on lands owned by the Holy Spirit Catholic Community and previously vacated in Resolution 2022-04.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-10.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2022-10. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Hickerson,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Councilors, is going to take us on to our ordinance section, of which we have 3 ordinances. The first being on third reading, Ordinance 2022-01.
An ordinance amending Article 13.6 entitled Definitions and Article 13.8 entitled Zone District Regulations to define and list mobile vendors as allowable uses within the city of Rock Springs.
Councilors, third reading, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Hickerson.
I move to approve ordinance 2022-01.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-01 on third reading. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Zadi?
Yes.
Demus?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Halter?
Yes.
Vitolo?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Hickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Como?
Yes. Item number 2, ordinance 2022-02, second reading.
An ordinance amending Article 7.6 entitled Contractor Licensing of the Ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Item number 3, ordinance 2022-03, second reading.
An ordinance amending Article 7.1 entitled Building Code of the Ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Councilors, with no further business to come before this city council, this meeting is adjourned.